building was new, and it was gorgeous for us because we hadn't had a place that we could call our own.
When we moved in here, it was like we were real and we were official and people could actually find us.
The first piece of property was over on Ridge Road, and that's where we were going to build the church. And the DOT wouldn't let us do it because apparently at some point 485 was supposed to go through there. We ended up over here. This turned out to be a far better choice.
Having a landing point was different.
That was one of the first greeters, and it was nice because you could hand out the bulletin with pride saying, "This is our home now."
When we came to a building and we actually had a settled, place to be, you had consistency. Whether it be chairs were already there when you got there.
Not having to set up the speakers every morning.
A soundboard that you didn't have to tear down after every service.
We didn't have to pull out TVs, and we didn't have to run cords every week.
It felt stable. It was finally like our permanent home. It felt really good.
From the mechanic stuff, it was such a relief.
We now had grown enough that now it wasn't just a handful of people who were trying to do everything from nursery, set up cribs, everything else in music, but be able to actually have a service and to be able to know that we didn't have to rush and set up and take down. So it gave a sense of roots.
When we moved into the church, it was the first floor, and basically our large room where we have Sunday school now was our worship room. The infrastructure for the second floor was already put in place, although the second floor wasn't finished. We ran out of space pretty quick.
Babies. Yeah, there were tons of babies that were born here.
We were kind of at the season that a lot of the folks that helped early with the church were now having kids.
My wife and I wanted to be a part of that, and we wanted to be part of that baby race.
We had twins. Mary Ellen had twins. Cynthia and James had twins.
We got up to 4 and we said, we're done. Levinson's got up to 7 and, everybody's, I'm out. But, I think that's one of the things the church is really missing now. We need somebody to go back and go to the Levinsons and say, I see you're 7 and I'm going to go 8. 9, 10, hey, double digits. What's holding us back? We can have a family of Duggars at this church, 19 and counting. We couldn't do it. When Jody and I had our 29th birthday last year, we really decided that we were just done.
Our vision started beginning to formulate as to who we are and how were we going to reach out to the community. And having a building allowed us to think about more than just the mechanics.
We were very flexible as a church in the box, but when you have a permanent building, then you begin to make choices.
Then you say, wow, there's a million things we can do. What is StoneBridge going to do?
And so all those decisions then, we became more sophisticated and more complex.
It really allowed us to really focus more on ministry components as opposed to setup components.
Being able to have a place to have Bible studies.
Caraway Street, puppets.
More serious commitment to youth and youth ministry.
You could put kids into a classroom now.
Watching the worship team evolve.
It was nice to not have to go to John Gross's house to practice in his living room. We could now go to the actual stage and practice in the building.
We thought we were rocking. We were doing Amy Grant, Michael W. Smith songs. That was, we were on the edge.
One of my highlights, though, leading worship was the first time Bob Ward came and played the drums. It was electric, and the whole place just erupted because it was such an enhancement to what we were doing.
It was fun to watch new people come in and join the family.
The church really took off. Every time we added staff, but particularly when Rick came in.
When I was hired in 1997 as an assistant pastor, my job description was pretty standard. I was responsible for doing general pastoral duties, preaching, teaching, doing the sacraments.
Jeff Levinson and I did a lot of the interviewing, actually.
But there was a little clause at the bottom that said, and other duties not listed in this job description.
He had a sense of resourcefulness, which was needed in the type of church that we were.
Things such as cleaning toilets, changing light bulbs, mowing the lawn.
You have to make your resources go a long way, and it seemed like he would be a real good fit around that.
Running errands for the senior pastor.
There were a lot of qualities that were kind of innate.
Mopping bathrooms.
I think he was disciplined. He was bright.
We have a little closet here that smelled of dead rats and sewer that would just waft into my office, which is why nobody else wanted this one. And it was one of my priorities that first year was to figure out where the sewage and the dead rat smell was coming from.
A strong, calm leadership style.
Ingrid, you can thank me that your office doesn't smell like dead rats and sewage this day.
Instead of just doing church, we're really about the kingdom. And to me, that's really what it's about. And that's where I want to be. I want to be plugged into a place that's all about the kingdom, wherever that is, whatever it's doing. And so I feel like StoneBridge is right in the middle of that.
And I like that our church is so outward focused. And I feel good inviting people to come because I feel like the things that our church stands for are really amazing things.
20 years from now, we've got to be have just as much a sense of urgency about being about our Father's business as we do now, and that's what it's got to be about every day.